Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Thank you yet again for all the support that you guys showed on my last video about Cristiano Ronaldo. The video did really well and some really positive feedback and also some genuinely quite interesting points. Big shout out to you guys for that. Welcome to the channel where someone who knows literally nothing about anything talk about something. So after 3 years, as I'm sure you've heard, Jose Mourinho is now a free man once again. After 2.5 seasons at the Italian capital where he guided Roma to consecutive European finals, winning the inaugural UEFA Conference League, the sacking of Mourinho by Roma has been labelled harsh. Mourinho leaves Roma after 6 games and no wins, including defeats to AC Milan and Lazio. We all know that Jose likes a quick turnaround in between his jobs, you know, as he famously said.
I'm always in football.
After being sacked by Tottenham Hotspur, I think it was, that was just before he got the job at Roma. So this all begs the question, what's next for Jose Mourinho? Okay, so let's start with the most boring option first. Jose could go to Saudi Arabia, he could go and manage in the Saudi Pro League. Mourinho is obviously one of the most successful football managers the game has ever seen, and as a byproduct of that success, he is one of the most famous football managers on the planet. With him being such a big name and such a big draw, obviously the Saudi Pro League are going to see that, or see him as a massive asset. And as we've seen before, Saudi are not afraid to offer insane amounts of money to try and convince the famous football players to come to their league. Benzema, Ronaldo, just to name a few. So yeah, Mourinho obviously therefore has a very high commercial value. I have no doubt in my mind that Saudi Arabia first of all will obviously give him an offer, but that offer will be for an insane amount of money for him to go and manage in the Saudi Pro League. Now, whilst the money in the Saudi Pro League can turn managers' heads, as we've seen, Jose is a man who loves the game. He has always wanted to manage the big clubs, which is evident from his quick reappointments after sackings, and also his history of not being worried of upsetting one fan base to go and manage a different club. So for example at Chelsea, made himself into a club legend, won them their first Premier League in 40 odd years. Then once he was sacked the second time by Chelsea, as he had no problem joining Spurs, United and Roma, who were all big rivals of both Chelsea and Inter Milan. His quick reappointments and his willingness to sort of join rival clubs, in my opinion, shows that Jose is very much career focused and he's always wanted to manage the big and best clubs, and not much will stop him from doing so. And I'd like to think that he's still, even at 60, having won everything and managed so many teams, is still keen to carry on his European story. The money that Saudi can offer, Europe can't. We can't compete with the fucking Saudis. But on the other hand, Jose Mourinho, after being sacked by Roma, basically his now career total earnings through compensation packages, which is a fancy way of saying him getting sacked, is over £85 million. Whilst, you know, Saudi can offer him a lot of fucking money, he's already got a lot of money to spend. Like, he's made so much money just through sackings. Think about his career earnings on top of that as well. Okay, so the second rumoured club that Jose may join is Napoli. This solidifies my earlier point about Jose's willingness to move to rival clubs to continue his European crusade. Obviously Napoli and Roma don't exactly get on the best. Napoli have emerged as potential suitors for Jose. The current Serie A champions are sitting in 9th place, 19 points off league leaders Juventus. Whilst I'm sure that Jose's appointment would bring electricity to the club, which is clearly needed, if we take away the magic around Mourinho's reputation, why would you appoint a manager of a club who sit just 1 place and 1 point ahead of you? Because that's what Napoli would be doing, as Roma sit in 8th place on 32 points, Napoli sit in 9th place on 31 points. Plus Napoli have a game in hand. You know, in what, a week or whenever they play their next game, they could be ahead of Roma. So like I said, on paper that appointment doesn't actually make too much sense to me. On paper I think Napoli could potentially look for a more sustainable solution as well, because obviously Jose is very much a short-term manager, and at Napoli I think they should really, looking at the young players they've got, be looking at a long-term manager who develop the young side they have. But Jose certainly wouldn't be a bad appointment by any means. Alright, so the next possibility that we are going to discuss is a return to Chelsea, maybe. This option, there are a lot of moving parts, because obviously at the moment Chelsea aren't looking for a manager. Mauricio Pochettino is currently their manager, and it would basically mean that he would have to resign, which isn't going to happen, or he would have to be sacked for Jose to be able to come in and take over at Chelsea. Pochettino's Chelsea sit in 9th place in the Premier League and don't seem likely to qualify for next year's Champions League unless they have a ridiculous turnaround this season. However, they are into the League Cup final against Liverpool, so there is a potential of silverware. You know, this is all kind of adding to the fact that Pochettino isn't going to get sacked. Chelsea are still in their infancy of the Todd Bowley era, and I think that they will want to stick with Poch and give him time to imprint onto the club and bring his philosophy to the forefront of Chelsea. Because obviously, like I said, this is a very young and new squad. They haven't been playing with each other very long. To bring in Jose and get rid of Poch, first of all, undoes all the work that Pochettino has done, and it also just doesn't seem like what Chelsea need. Because similar to what I said with Napoli, Chelsea have a very young squad, very youthful squad. Jose Mourinho would come in for a couple of seasons, maybe win you a trophy, and then it would all kind of capitulate and implode. Whereas Pochettino, based on his time at Spurs, maybe not so much his time at PSG, clearly does well with very young groups of players who he has plenty of time to develop and manage. Like, look at all the trophies nearly won at Spurs. So yeah, I don't see Mourinho being able to return to Chelsea. I think that nostalgia plays a big part in his potential rekindling, but I don't think that Jose's manager profile fits Chelsea's at all. On a side note, I'm not even sure whether Chelsea fans would want Jose back at Chelsea. Like, obviously, Chelsea fans will look back at the Mourinho periods with very, very good memories. You know, he's won them plenty of trophies. However, he did then go to Spurs and Man United, which will have soiled somewhat his relationship with the Chelsea fans. And like I said, I just think at the moment Pochettino suits Chelsea way more than Jose does. Chelsea fans, tell me what you think. However, whatever is next for Jose, I'm sure it will be another story for the ages. I think it's important to remind ourselves what Jose actually is. He's not a project manager. He isn't going to have this unbelievable run to the top of the footballing world where he spends 5 or 6 seasons building a super team such as Pep or Klopp at City and Liverpool. He's a short-term feel-good manager who will potentially win a club a couple of trophies, but in terms of building an era of dominance and long-term success, which most, if not all, the top clubs are now looking to do in the modern day, Jose isn't that guy. He won't yield the results that most super clubs demand. The biggest clubs in the world now, Real Madrid, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, all these teams, have a massive focus on young players now and developing them into becoming world-class superstars. And Jose Mourinho just isn't a manager that's built to do that. Like I said, he's a great historical manager, but he doesn't necessarily suit the modern era of football quite so well. But I may be wrong. You guys let me know. Where would you like to see Jose next? Personally, come and manage the Welsh national team. Jose, from me to you, I extend my arm to you. Please come and manage Wales. If not, I'm sure England will have you. Anyway, that is it for today's video, guys. Please like, subscribe, all of that stuff, and I will be sure to make a new video soon. And just thank you again. Continued support was amazing on the last 2 videos. Harry Kane video should be up by the time this one's up. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Anyway, take care. Bye bye.